Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report. Continuing the trend of not talking about Phantom Nightmare for a little bit, or even Age of Overlord or Bag of Chips, the upcoming Terminal World set in the OCG showed that they could make some insanely strong cards for Infernoid to play with, promising some much needed strength for the deck. But making Infernoids good or playable is much easier to do in regards to the dual terminal archetypes. How about you make something good that was previously very bad? How about Gen X? Or how about, to the visually not impaired among you, this archetype? That's right, Ice Barriers. Those cards suck. Actually, two of these don't, but for the most part, Ice Barriers suck. So let's take a look at the new Ice Barrier cards from Dual Terminal and see what it is exactly we'll be getting to make them playable. It's not Dual Terminal, it's Terminal World. Whoops. I suppose this card's a solid enough start. Lancia, Dragonic Ancestor of the Ice Spirit Mountain, is a fucking DDD tier long name, and a new level 10 Water Dragon Synchro with 3300 attack and 2700 defense that abandons the cool blue theming that Ice Barriers had for a fierce red. Kind of looks like it's a big Brionac almost, but it's also got like Trishula's chest piece, and also the fucking Mega Mittens on its hand. Them paws have claws. Still, this card has some effects, so let's go ahead and take a look at them. Once per chain, if the opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon an Ice Barrier from your hand, deck, extra deck, or grave. Then you can change one attack position monster on the opponent's field to defense position. Okay, sure. And because that's not enough, if it's removed from the field by the opponent while face up in its owner's control, it can summon an Ice Barrier Synchro monster from the extra deck, treating that summon as a Synchro summon. That is, sure, yeah. Just every time the opponent special summons, a monster from your deck comes to the field. Just Ice Barriers, of course. Ice Barriers are known for having weird-ass Floodgate effects that are unrelated to each other on just a bunch of different monsters. Things like limiting to one activation of a spell or trap card per turn, being a gravity bind, forcing the opponent to discard to use their monster effects, you name it. And this big dumb idiot will let you spam the board full of them just for being on the board while the opponent is playing. I suppose that's about the best way to make Ice Barriers more playable and give those cards function and purpose, is to let the opponent play for you and then you cheat them out that way. This of course means all Ice Barrier decks will be living or dying off their ability to get to a will be living or dying to get to a copy of Ice Jade Ran Agarine. I can't fucking read. This level 7 that makes itself a level 10 Synchro, but it locks you into water, but it doesn't matter. So this is of course going to be the way to make it most reliably for the most part, and that's about as on brand as it gets for Ice Barrier, isn't it? Because you need to use out of engine to make the card for your engine. Sounds about right. I haven't even mentioned the fact that if they get rid of this, that you can Super Trish them. You can summon the new level 11 Trishula that banishes 3 monsters on the field for some incredibly strong disruption. You can also regular Trish them, because Trish is bae, what can I say? And that card rips from the hand as well, so there's arguments to be made, but yeah, Murder Mittens is a pretty solid card. God, that's rare to be saying about Ice Barriers, isn't it? I'm sorry, is this next card's name Georgius? Georgius? I really prefer the combination of George and gorgeous. Georgius, that's what I'm calling it. Swordsman of the Ice Barrier. This fucks a level 6 winged beast Wada Tuna with 2000 attack, 1200 defense, and can special summon itself from the hand in defense position if you control an Ice Barrier monster. On normal or special, it can summon a level 5 or lower Ice Barrier from your hand or graveyard, so it'll hella set up a Synchro summon more or less by itself. And because it's an Ice Barrier, we gotta have a little Floodgate going on, because while it's on the field with another Ice Barrier on your field, the opponent cannot use graveyard effects. So we have an Ice Barrier that summons itself if you control an Ice Barrier, that then summons another Ice Barrier from the hand or grave, and while it's on field with any other Ice Barrier, it's just a permanent Abyss Dweller for the opponent only. Sick. Cool. Love to see it. Summonable off our new 10 from the deck, and this can summon another Floodgate from your hand or grave, provided it's level 5 or lower, and you have it there. I won't lie, so far this and the Infernoid have surprised me with the quality of the cards. Infernoid more so than this, but also this more so than Infernoid, because making a good deck better is easy. Making a bad deck playable is a fucking miracle. It's almost as surprising as the Tri-Brigade Shureg showing up as an Ice Barrier card. Haha, get it? All Birdmen are just Shureg, or at least according to fans of the Albaz lore, because they talk, and so do I. Overall, though, this makes for 2 good cards. Can we get a third? Mirror Magic Master of the Ice Barrier is a level 2 Water Aqua Tuner with 1000 attack, 400 defense, and the ability to tribute any other effect monster to summon up to 3 Ice Barrier tokens, which will be level 1 Water Aquas with 0 attack and defense, and you can then increase this card's level by the number of tokens summoned. This will lock you into only summoning water synchro monsters from the extra deck, so it's Dragite Turbo and the other Ice Barrier gang. And even then, it's better because if it's sent to the graveyard, it can add a Ice Barrier card from your deck to your hand or from your banish pile to your hand. This one doesn't summon itself, so that's a tad shame, I guess, but it can't tribute any monster to work with it so long as its effect, making it more generically usable, which is a cope. It can also set up a level 8 synchro play by itself, not 9 because Konami hates me and therefore doesn't support Trishula, but also probably a good thing because Turbo Trishula usually sucks, doesn't it? Art-wise, it's the coolest thing they've designed. I disagree with that. That's I don't know why that sentence is there. I'm firing the writer. I'm the writer. I'm fired. It does get you to Brionac, Gungnir, or even Doloran, and I just find it funny that they missed Trish with that all. As it is, it's fine. It's definitely the weakest card, I think, thus far, but it's better than the original support by a mile, and that's got to be a win in and of itself, right? And last up, that was revealed, Frozen Domains leading to the Ice Barrier. This continuous trap will make it so the opponent cannot respond to your Ice Barrier monster effects while this is face up, which really means that new Synchro will be extra annoying because it's just going to keep summoning from the deck. You can also return an Ice Barrier monster you control to the hand to place 1 card from either field or grave onto the bottom of the deck. And the last effect is the real comedy because during each end phase, this card requires you to reveal 3 Ice Barrier monsters with different names in your extra deck, or it pulls a Burning Abyss and immediately destroys itself. Hot damn. That's not too shabby, right? If only for being able to protect Murder Mittens to keep it summoning from the deck. It's nothing insane otherwise. It's strong enough disruption. Non-targeted tuck to the bottom is a strong effect. It's just the fact that you need to have 3 differently named Ice Barrier monsters in your extra deck, of which there's like exactly 3 worth playing. You're going to be playing the new 10, you're going to be playing Super Trish if you want, or regular Trish to float into. And beyond that, you'd be forced to tech in Doloran, Gungnir, or Brionac, depending on which one you want, just to keep this card live and active. I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if it's the most valuable thing for a bounce and tuck of the opponent's field. But then again, I don't know if Ice Barrier has the fucking choice to play it or not, because this is still miles better than most other spell and trap they have. Certainly traps. Do they have traps? Who looks at Ice Barrier cards, am I right? All in all, it seems it'll need the new level 10 to be doing anything of note. Am I talking about this new support, or am I talking about the deck by and large? Yes. Even then, the 10 doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot if your opponent doesn't let it do a whole hell of a lot. Needing the opponent to do things for it to do things is annoying. Like, yeah, they're going to be summoning monsters, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, could be, if they're smart and if they're playing a competent deck, there's going to be ways to get around this. It's got a self-summoning level 6 tuner Floodgate, which means that making level 10 synchros is now incredibly easy, but that also means that our new level 10 friend here is competing for the other level 10 synchro slots. Baron, we've got Cheng Ying, Ruddy Rose if you're a fan of making people angry by reminding them that Ruddy Rose exists. There's ways to get in players' heads, that's all I'm saying. There's a lot of competition for it. I don't think this is bad support by any stretch. I think there are a lot of strong cards here, and I think there's a lot to do with them. I just think it's also still fundamentally going to be playing Ice Barriers, because outside of these 4 new cards, yeah, there's cool Floodgate effects on, say, like Medium by locking out spells, mostly, but that also means you have to play Medium, and if you draw into it, that sucks. And if we're talking about a deck who's 90% Garnets, I don't know, pick a number. It's a lot of Garnets that you wouldn't want to see except to summon off the new Big Ten. That's a pretty rough time. It only gets better by playing more worse, so it's, you know, it's a balancing act. Strong cards, do not mistake me, cool looking cards, or at least the dragon is. I just don't know if this is exactly what Ice Barrier really ultimately needed, because it still kind of feels like, for the most part, it's a lot of just individual cards that share a name. Still a very much lack of cohesion, and that means it's treason or something. I don't know, I just went for the rhyme. I'm completely off script at this point, so it's a promising start to the set overall, and we haven't even seen any of the alt arts yet, okay? We're talking about a potential alt art for Trishula. I will bust the fattest nut on this earth. That is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card. I would like to see cooler art of it. There's still 2 other decks to be getting support in this set, and I believe one of them is going to be Cleforce. Or I think that is, because otherwise, I think that's what's going on. Otherwise, the Yu-Gi-Oh Twitter, it's just having a complete emotional breakdown on the OCG side of things. But hey, we'll find out soon enough, won't we? And speaking of organic segues, thanks as always go to this week's sponsor, the LIFD Magnetic Display, the true Duelist approved way to support my channel. 15% off, you can get you one of these for 15% off. Crazy how that works, isn't it? If you want the 3-card display or the solo to put anything you want on display and support it and say, hey, Craig Fee said it's cool, and that's why I rule, or something else that rhymes. I don't know. Thanks to them for the sponsorship as always, and thanks to you for watching. And that's it, just covering some of the new cards in this report. The regular update will of course be out on Friday. Until then, I've been your host, Greg Fief, or something, I don't know. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. You'll become an immediate impressed Italian. You'll become an Italian wife. What is going on? You will immediately impress your smoking Italian wife, a la Douglas Konami Representative Zeef, and you will of course become a true duelist. I want to redo that. No, I don't. And last up,